There is no argument that the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 is amongst one of the coolest flip phones on the market right now. And in today's video, I'll be sharing my thoughts after using this device for a few days now and what to expect in case you're somebody looking at purchasing the Flip 5. I'm Delpy and we can talk Charlie. Starting off, the Flip 5 came with 3 major upgrades from the Flip 4. Where is the Flip 4? And in this video, you might be seeing me comparing a lot with the Flip 4 just so we could point out some of these differences and how the Galaxy Flip 5 has evolved coming from its predecessor. The first and most obvious one is the external display, and Samsung is calling this the Flex window. This allows you to do more as compared to the smaller display we had on the Flip 4. With the Flex window now, you could view certain widgets like the weather, the call logs, even check notifications right on here. If you're somebody who locks the device with a PIN, pattern or password alone, you could easily open your smartphone right on this Flex window. Now there's an additional feature here that I love so much, and this allows you to add up to 6 emergency contacts with which you could easily speed dial without having to open the Flip phone. There are other things you could do, like using apps that have been optimized to fit for this display, some of which include WhatsApp, most of the Google apps, Netflix and YouTube. But with this, you'd manually have to go into the settings of the device to toggle it on to be able to have that feature on your device. You could also customize the kind of widget you want to see on the screen and also customize the outer display wallpaper. This external display can be used as a monitor for taking selfies with a rear-facing camera. And you know what that means. You are definitely getting a much sharper and improved selfie shot because you are taking it with a rear-facing camera. Talking about the cameras, Samsung put on here 2 cameras at the rear side of the device. One wide, one ultra wide lens, 12 megapixel each, and they do take some great images on this device. The department with which these cameras do extremely well is with ultra wide shots and portrait shots. Edge detection is quite brilliant on this device, and in right lighting conditions, the image output is sharp, crisp, detailed or well lit, and very vibrant. You're also getting a much improved video quality on here as the device records video of up to 4K 60fps with a rear-facing camera. For content creators who care about using this device as a video producing machine, yes, you can do this as well. And not forgetting, again, with a Flex window, you could use that as your monitor again whilst using the rear-facing cameras to take a video. For instance, you want to take a picture of someone and you want to let them see how they look on the device. You could as well toggle a setting on the phone with which would allow them to see themselves whilst you're taking a picture of them. The selfie camera on the Galaxy Z Flip 5 is a 10 megapixel front-facing camera, which does extremely well whilst taking selfies on the device. One of the amazing features you'd like to check out if you're somebody who will be going to use the device for content creating is portrait video mode. And as I'm speaking with you now, I'm shooting this video from the front-facing camera, a 10 megapixel selfie lens, and as you can see, there's enough bokeh in the background, high dynamic range is on point. The colors are much vibrant, punchy and slightly saturated, but this is good for video content online for anyone who would want to use that for making content online. But let me know, what do you think about this particular shot in the comment section. Okay, so this is video in 4K 60fps from the front-facing camera of the Z Flip 5. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. High dynamic range is on point. Of course, the clouds are very milky today, so there's no blue skies yet. But let me know what you think about this in the comment section, and we will talk more, shall we? Now, as a flip phone, it has the advantage of using it as a tripod with which you could easily take selfies on this device. And all you need to do is to just place it on a surface and you're good to go to start taking selfies or pictures of yourself. As a flip phone, the major advantage about this device is the fact that you could fold it into a much compact design, which could be placed anywhere without having to worry about it being so bulky on you. And once it's opened, you have a fully fledged 6.8-inch smartphone you could use as well. That is a very big advantage on this device. The other improved part about the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 is the hinge mechanism, and Samsung is calling it the Flex hinge. Comparing it to the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4, the hinge mechanism on here has been improved, and now the device closes completely, not allowing any gaps in the device. You're also getting a much satisfying closure whenever you close the device. A side catch though for this is that we still have the crease on here, which is quite visible. Not as visible as previously, but it's still there, and I'm hoping that Samsung in their subsequent releases for other Z Flip variants would completely eliminate this, as to some of us it feels quite uncomfortable at times. At the rear-facing side of the device, it's purely glass from Gorilla Glass, and this is the Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which means It's much more scratch resistant, but again, it's glass, and to a deeper level, you might end up scratching it. But what I mostly advise people to do with these devices is, because it's glass, it has the tendency of being a fingerprint magnet, so many fingerprint smudges all over the device, and with that, I will highly advise and recommend that you get a casing to protect the beauty of this device. There's an armor aluminum frame all over the device, which makes it much tougher and again, more resistant to scratches overall. Just like its predecessor, the power button doubles as a fingerprint scanner, which allows easy entry into the device and is something I personally find very, very efficient and much more reliable on here. I prefer this to ultrasonic in-display fingerprint sensors, personally. There's a volume rocker button on the device, obviously in the right place, same as where it was on the Z Flip 4. You get a single nano SIM support for this device, USB Type-C charging port, which supports USB Type-C charging for up to 25 watts. The other major improvement for the Galaxy Z Flip 5 is its chipset. Samsung, in collaboration with Qualcomm, came up with a chipset known as the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy. And this helps with optimization on this device. The side of optimization that I was expecting to happen was with the battery. The battery capacity on here is 3700 mAh, and so I was expecting that as an optimized chipset was going to work hand in hand to help optimize the battery to keep it longer for us. But during my experience, I end up charging the device close to 2 times, and I must be honest, most of the people who would end up buying this device might not care about that. But I'm hoping that in subsequent releases for upcoming devices, they would definitely consider that as well. I understand the form factor of this device won't allow it to have a much bigger battery, so the best way will be for it to be optimized enough with the chipset to be able to hold up for us in terms of battery life. The chipset on here is a beast. Honestly, running apps is so smooth, fast and efficient, and it handles multitasking like a beast. You'll be amazed at how fast this device is when you end up using it. I haven't noticed so much heating up issues, but when I played certain games like Call of Duty at high graphic settings, I did notice the device heat up slightly. But of course, for anyone who games at longer periods of time, you definitely notice the device heating up a bit. The downside though, again, is the battery, and once you're playing these games for longer periods of time, the battery ends up draining quickly, which is a downside for me. Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 has an IP rating of IPX8, which means that it's water resistant for up to 1.5 meters deep in water for 30 minutes. But it doesn't have a dust rating, so you should be careful when you're playing with dust or when you're playing around dust, because dust might, I'm not saying it will, might affect the device in a negative way. I have the baseline storage for this device, and it's 256 gigabytes. You could get as high as 512 gigabytes paired with 8 gigs of RAM. The device runs on One UI 5.1.1 based on Android 13, and Samsung is promising 4 years of major software updates and up to 1 additional year of security updates. So you could use this device for close to 5 years if you're somebody who wouldn't look at upgrading for that long. Let's look at the display. Of course, we all know that Samsung is one of the best manufacturers when it comes to display on here. The display, or the main display on this device, is made of plastic for protecting the foldable design, and it runs on the foldable dynamic Super AMOLED display, which is capped at 120 Hz. So consuming content, scrolling through apps and everything on the display is something you would enjoy having on this device. And for people who care about watching Netflix content, you could stream as high as 4K on this device with HDR10+ support. This device could get extremely bright when you're outdoors, as it has a nit brightness of 1750, so it could get extremely, and I mean extremely, bright if you're outdoors. So this has been my review for the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5. If I left anything you'd want to know out, make sure to leave a comment in the comment section and I'll be there to answer and assist you. Also, again, the few drawbacks I have here is 1, the crease, and I hope Samsung does something or sends an update to help optimize the battery life on this device, and also hopefully they end up increasing it in subsequent devices that would come from henceforth. I'm Delpy. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and as always, we go talk more, Charlie.